Hi everyone. In this video I'm going to show you guys the process that I made when making this drawing, this piece I called Manee and Yushen's Last Embrace. Alright, let's get started. Now, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted for my final piece for the look, and which is I wanted to have Yushen big and the main focal point, but I also wanted to add Manee in as well, reaching out for Yushen, and then I wanted a nice sunflower background with mountains, just a nice environment in the background. So also I wanted to make sure I conveyed Yushen in an emotional state where he's kind of like crying. He knows it's the last time he'll see his loved one. Here you'll see me adding in the first layer of outlines. As you'll see, I actually go back in and add multiple layers of outlines. But here's me adding in some of the sketch or the scaling patterns. And you can also see that I added some arms in for Yushen. Now, as you know from my final, I actually took out the arms, but I wanted to play with the idea of what if he did have more arms. Here's me just adding in more details. I knew I wasn't happy with the look of the dragon, so I actually go back in again and draw another version of this dragon. This one's more of like a Western, like a European look. And then I go back in again and try to make like an Eastern looking dragon, something with more of like a, like a beard, some sideburns, some eyebrows. But I knew that that looked not quite right, so I kind of left it there. Went back in and added more details in, and here you can see some more details in the background as well. And finally, this is the final look that I wanted to have. The way I came to this design was actually reference to Moon's original dragon. So I took that idea and changed it a little bit, made it more reptilian, more almost like a dinosaur-esque look. And yeah, added in these horns and added in the mane here. I'm working in the hair, and I changed the scale in order to make it look more fitting for the setting and compared to Manee. And then here's me adding in some details for the scales. As you know, my previous video I kind of teach you guys how I do the scale drawings on these dragons. So if you haven't watched that video yet and you're wondering how I did this process, take a look at that video and you'll see how I go through here. And as you know, or might not know, the drawing I wanted to convey it with a lot of details, so I made sure I went in and drew pretty much every scale of this dragon. But as you ultimately I do lose a lot of the detailing on the scales when I paint it later on. And yeah, you can see it goes all the way to the tail. And then here I'm starting on the horns. I wanted to make sure that I captured the dimensions of the horns. I wanted, like, imagine if you ran your arm or your hand across it, you can feel every bump and texture. So, and here's me adding in more details. And here I am going into the face with the scales in his face, and going in and adding in more details. His teeth are a little bit long for right now, but like I said, I go in and I change it in the future with smaller teeth. And here I am playing with the background. I knew I wanted to paint the background first, so here I am working on the sunflowers. I literally drew pretty much every single sunflower. These first few ones in the background, I drew them out and painted them. And then ultimately I duplicated them and put them into the background and all the way into the horizon there like that. And I'm just adding in some greenery, some foliage, adding in the ground floor and the tree line in the back. And here are the mountains. I wanted to make sure that I captured like a ethereal or like a heavenly like setting. So that's those are the mountains. And now I'm starting on the color for the characters. First I begin with Yushen. I knew I wanted to have a red mane with a green like body and like a yellow underbelly, and obviously the golden horns. So I really did want to convey gold horns by kind of working in the different colors and the reflective nature of gold. So there's that. And then here I am just adding more details in the scales, into the underbelly, and in the mane, in the hair that goes across the body. And as you see, this is the final look or the final color of Yushen. And here I'm starting on Manee. I'm really wanting to make sure I have the outline for her first before going in with color. And as you may or may not know, when you're coloring moonclothes, it's actually really difficult. So I had to have the help of my wife to kind of give me an idea of where I should go with the moonclothes. But luckily she was there to help me. And then, yeah, as you can see, I changed the teeth to make them smaller because I know Yushen is a fish eater. So I wanted to make sure I didn't have him with all these huge canines. So we changed that up. And now I'm just going in with the shadows, adding in details, taking away shadows so that I can convey light, and going back and forth, adding more layers of shadow, going in the shadow for Manee. And then, ultimately I go in and I start doing the light, which is right here. As you can see, there's reflective light. There's the light source coming from the sky. I'm also trying to convey the light coming from below, because the sunflowers do bring off a sort of light into the into Yushen, and I'll show it here in the jaw and on the underbelly of his belly. Also, there's reflective light coming off of his hair onto his body as well. So, and here I'm working on the final details, adding in a hazy background look. I knew it was dreamlike, so I wanted to kind of capture that idea. And just finishing it up here nearing the end. I'm adding in little bits of details that you might not see, but finally I end it with the edge lighting on Manee and on Yushen to convey, or to kind of make them pop out more. But I finish it off with making sure that I get the tears in Yushen's eyes, because I know this is an emotional point in the story, and so I go back and forth with different ways of capturing that. But ultimately, I ended up with this, and then finally we, like I said, we do the edge lighting to kind of make the head of Yushen and the mane pop out more. Same with Manee, and finally, I add some more details in the background to make it more dream-esque. So with all the lights, all the the fireflies and whatnot in the background. But I'll go ahead and end it with a final a quick 30-second redo of the entire video. I really appreciate you guys watching, and if you have any questions on how I did this, or any other questions at all, if there's anything you want to see, let me know in the comments or send me a message. I'd love to respond to you and get some more videos out for you guys. So thank you for watching, and have a good day.